Hello and welcome to Ann Talks, a recording for nurses by nurses. I'm Curry Bordelon, your host for today's recording. Today I want to spend a little time talking about one of my favorite topics to discuss, and that's emotional intelligence. And there's a common misconception that emotional intelligence is related to IQ and all, performance and education and so forth, and that's far from the truth. Emotional intelligence is one of the most important key factors to effective leadership, effective communication, and really how you function within groups. So what I want to do is talk about the main core elements, and there's four main core elements divided into two domains, really. There's personal competence and there's social competence. Personal competence is your self-awareness, your self-management, how you manage yourself in groups, how you manage yourself, how you function as far as recognizing key indicators with your performance and so forth. But there's also the social competence, which is social awareness and relationship management. So what we're going to talk about today is understanding how these all interrelate when it comes to how you understand yourself, how you recognize certain behaviors that you exhibit, and how you recognize how you receive and give information, how you communicate, and also how that impacts others. Know the impact of your voice, or know the impact of your behaviors. One of the biggest things that we do, and I'm just as guilty as many other folks, is we don't spend enough time listening. That's one of my things as far as emotional intelligence that I've really learned how to do more of is you don't have to be the first one to speak. You don't have to be the loudest one to speak. You don't have to be the one that speaks the most. It's really absorbing that information, taking in what others are sharing, understand how your voice impacts others, how your voice, even the things you want to say, impacts yourself. So as a leader, you really want to understand that your word choices, your tones, your level of confidence are all noticed by others, and that's how you get buy-in. That's how you get others to go along with you. If you are the leader in a project or a task force or something along that line, understand how it's important to embed others in that process. You want to listen to others. You want to bring them into that process and have everyone having a voice. And that's that social awareness. How you are in that space within that task force, how you function, how you act, how you communicate with others, how you listen, how you respond to each other, but also relationship management. Like we just talked about, it's very important that you recognize you're not the only one in the room, or you're not the one that needs to speak first. I'll tell you one of the most impactful experiences I've ever had is during my training as an advanced practice provider. I did my clinical time at an academic medical center, and it's a very large academic medical center in the neonatal intensive care. One of the best rounding experiences I ever had was a fellow was in charge of rounding. All the fellows were in charge of the rounding experience, the daily rounding experiences. And in fact, it was such a large unit, we had two, but I was on the day shift, so I was there. And the rounding experience was where the fellow was the last one to speak. The fellow started the rounding experience asking, okay, let's go around the room. We'll just start. We'll start with physical therapy. We'll go to speech therapy. We'll go to nursing. Work their way around the room, getting everybody's input on what should happen. What's the latest status on a baby for the last 24 hours? What's the family involvement? What are their opinion? What are their clinical opinion on managing this or that, or changing a little bit of the TPN or what have you? Then the fellow came back and said, these all sound like great ideas, or maybe we can consider this instead, or, what's our discharge planning to add another element. The fellow was there to orchestrate the overall plan as far as moving everybody in the same direction. But what made it most impactful is the fellow's relationship management, self-awareness, and social awareness, how they acted in that space, and how they pulled others. And as you understand more about how you listen to others, how you lead others, leading through effective communication, you want to have that consistent communication. There was always an expectation in rounding. Many people don't like to do rounding experiences because they don't know whoever's on it might be different and so forth. But it was the expectation. When you know what that experience is going to be like, it reduces that anxiety where everyone feels like they have an active voice. Okay, that's part of that social awareness and that's part of that relationship management. But it takes a strong personal competence, such as their self-awareness and their self-management, to be able to move past their own agenda and make it more about the experience of that team. Okay, so there's a lot of great resources out there. There's a great book that's called Emotional Intelligence, the Emotional Intelligence 2.0 book by Bradbury and Greaves. That book is really great. This is a self-assessment within the book. But there's also some great resources within the ANN website. And the ANN website now has a leadership toolkit, and there's a section dedicated to emotional intelligence within that toolkit. It gives you a lot of great prompts as far as what's things to look for, leading through change, all these different things such as honor the past, but also have an active voice. These are some great resources for you as leaders, as nurses, and as nurse leaders, whether it be you're in a management role or not. But it's really to help others achieve their ultimate success. So please take some time to look through the website, and we're glad that you joined us for this recording today. Look forward to seeing you next time.